As migrants continue to make their way into the country tonight, word from U.S. Customs and Border Protection that a 9-year-old girl has died. It was last Saturday when agents found the unresponsive child along with her mother and younger brother on an island in the Rio Grande River near Eagle Pass. Agents were able to resuscitate the woman and her 3-year-old boy. However, the 9-year-old girl was pronounced dead. The Del Rio Border Patrol sector says they have rescued over 500 immigrants since the beginning of the fiscal year.